Hey, thanks for dropping by to the Planners on Purpose podcast, created by Naomi Tucker, CMP. Now, this space is for the event planners to encourage and empower you so that you can fully live your life on purpose. So before we dig in, please take a moment to subscribe so you get future shows. Now, here she comes, your host, Naomi.
Hello, this is Naomi Tucker, your host here on the Planners on Purpose podcast. I hope you're doing well and that you're leading a life you love. And I just want to welcome you, whether you're here for the first time or you're here for many times. I just want to say thank you so much for showing up and being here. I'm very excited to bring you another episode, and I wanted to talk today about being an effective advocate for the meetings and event industry. This episode was inspired by my time at the CMP Advance Conference, which was held a couple weeks ago now, and it was a wonderful conference. I had such a great time, and I know that one of the key takeaways that I had was that advocacy is definitely so very important in the industry, and many times we are stuck in doing what we do best, which is planning meeting and events, and we are unable to, or we lose sight of being an advocate for the industry. So I wanted to share how you can actually do that. Now, for those of you that know already how to do that, that is wonderful. But if you perhaps would like to know a little bit more about how you can advocate, what you can do, then this episode is going to be valuable to you. But before we get started, I wanted to go ahead and introduce myself to you. For those of you that do not know me, I'm Naomi Tucker. I am a strategic events consultant, and I am also a burnout prevention specialist or coach. And I love working with ambitious leaders in the event profession to help them build effective time saving and leadership strategies so that they can help manage their many commitments and love the lives they live. I also love working with organizations, helping them to streamline their event management program so they operate efficiently as well. So I overall love to empower everyone to be a planner on purpose. And that just means to be intentional, to develop self-mastery, to be confident in the vision and goals you set for your life, and to really be a force in moving forward to keep it. That is what I call planners on purpose, and that is who I am here for. And I just want to welcome you or welcome back to the podcast again. Like I said, I want to talk about being an advocate for the industry. So you may be wondering, why is advocacy so important? Well, advocacy means to publicly support a particular cause or a policy, or in this case, an industry. And it's important to have people to support an industry because it allows for that industry to be seen by those that need to see it in a particular light. So, for example, our industry is very meaningful to the economy, and for us to continue to push and advocate for the meetings industry allows others to see it as a profession, allows others to see what the impact is of the industry and how they can even help and contribute to that industry. So that can be why advocacy is important. And we've always had to advocate for meeting and event industry, just making sure that it's recognized for contributing to that larger economy. So many people have gone before us and did that great work in order to bring light to the industry. So finding your way, your own way to help support that can be very meaningful, because obviously when many people are there supporting, then much bigger things can be done to transform and change the industry should it need to be changed. Also, advocacy is important because many times our friends and our family don't know exactly what we do. They do not know the vast amount of roles that are available in this industry, or the types of events that can be done, all of the intricacies that come into play with making sure events are successful and that people have wonderful experiences, it's really hard for them to be able to imagine that. So advocacy is important because it can be like even a continuation of education to make sure people at least know, because sometimes your voice only goes so far, but you may have a friend or you may have a family member that has specific connections that can also help with having the event industry be seen or making moves. You just never know who you're connected to. So what that means is if more people knew what you did, then they could help spread the word and help for any solutions that perhaps needed to be made in your community, in your state, and so on. So that is why advocacy is important. So you might be wondering, how can I be a better advocate for the meetings and event industry? Well, I'm going to give you several ways that you can do that. The first way is to align with a partner organization that is driving advocacy. Now, this can be your meeting and event planning associations. There are so many amazing associations out there. For example, you have MPI, Meeting Professionals International. You have PCMA. You also have IAEE. You have several others. And all of these major organizations, they have key relationships and for advocacy within them. And by supporting them and by partnering with them, you can be a part of making sure that that advocacy is out there. You can support, you can become a member, you can get involved at your local level. All of these things can help support and have that visibility for the industry. The second way that you can be involved in being an advocate is getting involved locally. Be a champion in your local networks. This would mean perhaps even your company that you're currently in. If you're an event planner that's sitting within a corporate entity, perhaps you can bring more visibility to your particular division or department. Champion that meetings means business. Champion your department. Have it be seen as a department that can actually have a seat at the table. And what being a champion means is that you are getting involved in some of your local networks. Perhaps there's leadership groups. Maybe I talked about having event planning associations. Maybe there's a regional or some type of a local network events, chapter meetings that you can get involved in. Also, be a champion within your job. If you're working at an in-house event planner, ask yourself, does a C-suite know what you do? And if they don't, how can they start to know what you do? Is it a matter of sharing your value? Is it a matter of doing things differently so that you have a seat at the table? Those are some questions to ask yourself on how you can start to raise more awareness within your organization. Also, leadership groups, other organizations that you probably would not have thought of. It could be your church. It could be other volunteer organizations that you work with, and maybe you have never even told them what you do. Maybe by telling them what you do can have you be involved in a different way and then also help increase the visibility of the industry. It's so important, and the little bit that you do does go far. Also, you can share what you do, volunteer. You can educate the people that are around you as you grow in relationship with them so they really have a good understanding about the industry. Again, be an advocate. Be an advocate for even the people that you are connected with, especially in areas that you can show what you do as an event professional. You never know what is caught. What is caught is taught, is what they say. I know they say that about child rearing, and I'm pretty sure the same is for anyone that you have any interaction with. What you may do outside of your work or even in your work is actually looked at. People are noticing you. People are taking note. And that is teaching them more about you, so that if you are an advocate and if you talk about what you do and if you're passionate about what you do, they are taking note. So if anything comes up in their lives that they can circle back to you, you're going to be their touch point in the industry. And that can really help the industry at any point. You just never know. The third way that you can be an advocate is to teach or get involved in a meeting and event management program or a hospitality program, right? Look into your local areas. There are technical colleges, there are smaller universities, large universities. Look to see if they have a meeting and event management program. Perhaps that's something that you can go and speak to someone and perhaps get involved in teaching if you're at that status or would like to do the teaching. Now, if you don't want to do teaching, you can be a guest speaker in some of those meeting and event management programs. I know for the program that I currently teach, we have guest speakers to speak once in a while to the students, to give them that touch point to the real world and have them listen in and hear how it really is in the event management space. So that can be an opportunity for you. You can even have your current organization perhaps play a bigger role within your meeting organization. That could be something. You can take advantage of interns. Typically, these meeting and event management programs have interns that you can probably even use for your business. And many times they're really looking for a viable place to put interns so that they can learn and they can grow. So if you do have an opportunity there, that can be how you can help just bring in new talent into our industry. And then another way that you can do this is perhaps even start a meeting and event management program. People have done it all the time. Perhaps there's no program in your area, and that's something that you wanted to champion and to get into good graces with the administrators of college and find a way that you can create a program, create a certificate program, create an associate degree program, and make that happen. That is something that you can also do as well. All right, number 4 is to recruit for the industry. Point to sources for learning. There are many programs and many certifications that are out there. And as someone in the industry, maybe you're a tenured person in the industry, you can point anyone that you know that has an interest in this field. You can point them and share the depth of roles that are in this industry and perhaps connect them to others in your network that will help them get to where they need to be in the industry. Another good way that you can recruit for the industry is that if you're a parent or you're active in your community, perhaps where you would like to go to middle schools and high schools and really start to put the idea out there that this is a very amazing, viable industry that perhaps can even be started and is perfect for someone that's coming right out of high school and that can come into, let's say, a 2-year program or a certificate program out of college, and from there going to like an intern program. It's a very great career track for someone that is in high school that's looking for what they want to do. Just sharing the knowledge within your community can be very helpful there. Okay, and then the next thing is to guide others that you know to the appropriate certifications that are needed. So understand the industry certifications that are out there. I know I talk a lot on this channel or this podcast about your certified meeting professional designation, which is your CMP. That is one of the first that are out there. It's great for foundational knowledge of meetings and events. Know what it is. Help to connect other people to getting that particular designation, and even learn the other certifications. And if you want to help others for their career advancement, help guide them to other certifications that also might be a good fit depending on what they would like to go into. So that's very important as well, so that you can help guide people to the resources that are out there that can help them stand out and get a great education in some of these areas that they are specializing in. The next one is to get involved politically. Meetings do mean business, and there is a way that you can get involved and advocate on the political level in every single state in the United States. And I'm pretty sure outside of the United States, in every single country, there is a way that you can advocate for meetings and events. So find those resources, find ways to get involved politically in order to advocate for meetings and advocate for that support for programming, for that support for different organizations. I know that in our particular field that it can be some challenges with the programs dissolving across the country. And a lot of that is still being impacted by what we went through in the last 4 years with COVID. We are still seeing the ramifications of that when it comes to the meetings and event industry in college programming. So any way that you're able to advocate, any way that you're able to just ensure that these programs can stay strong or a program is created, that's going to be very important. Or just advocate for face-to-face meetings, because that is really what helps make a lot of our world go round, right? It is very important to the economy, and it's very important that we always have people that are tenured, the people that are passionate about ensuring that meetings continue to thrive globally. Lastly, I have is to participate in events and conferences. And in particular, coming up is a huge special day, which is called the Global Meetings Industry Day. It's an amazing day. It's coming up here in April, and I'll leave the link for you to go ahead and get registered for Global Meetings Industry Day. But it is an event that really pulls together globally everyone in the event industry. There is a formalized agenda for that day. It's pretty much a lot of different events that are all lined up from in the morning all the way to the evening. You'll probably also find that there are other events that are being held too during that day. Perhaps you have meetings locally that you see are also starting to promote this day. Any way that you can be involved in Global Meetings Industry Day, go ahead and do that. Promote that you're being involved. When you also sign up, you do get some really great social media to share, to advocate for the industry and share how important the industry is. Go ahead and use those things. And that's another way that you can be an advocate and to raise awareness. Let's be a trending hashtag on social media on this day. Well, that is what I had for you when it comes to being an effective advocate for the meetings industry. I hope that you heard something today that spearheaded your interest in wanting to be a little bit more involved. Being in the industry can stop and start at your role, and that's absolutely fine if that's what you choose to do. But we are always in need of continual support from others that want to just step outside of their role and do a little something more. And there's so many other ways that you can do that to continue to push our industry forward, to continue to be a person that shows up, that's passionate, that asks the right questions, that educates others, that shares what we do with others, that guides people to the CMP or that guides people to get a certification. We really need you. So I hope that this helped to get you activated to do a few things. And if you are going to do something as a result of hearing this podcast, go ahead and put it in the comments or go ahead and DM me on Instagram. I would love to hear what you're going to do as a result of this. But I really appreciate you and appreciate you for listening to this podcast episode. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, please stay on purpose.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the like button and tell us how much you enjoyed the show by leaving a message in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.